longer, then I would have lost my forward. Let's go forward. There's one of them nose right there. I'm gonna pull this head around. I'm gonna kick on him pretty hard. I recently wrote an article, posted it on my Facebook page, about over cueing and under cueing, and they both have a purpose in a training program, but also used incorrectly or used with poor timing, they both can be a problem in your training program. And this is where a lot of keyboard warriors, keyboard trainers, look at a clip of a video and come to the wrong conclusions because they don't understand, refuse to understand, don't want to understand the psychology behind the over cueing or under cueing. Normally they're complaining about over cueing. And I'm on Stash. Stash is here because he's not a school horse, but he acts like a school horse. He has learned to get away with not doing things. The owner interpreted it as him being very green. He's actually not green. He knows a good bit. He just don't want to. So I'm working two things with him today, one mental and one physical. And in your training programs, you should generally be working one mental and one physical thing every time you ride. The mental thing that I'm working on with him is I'm working on his desire to do what's asked of him, because that's what's coming in and giving his owner issues, is him just generally not wanting to do what's asked of him. The physical part that I'm working is getting him more fit so that it's easier and feels like less work to do what's asked of him. So in the process of making him more fit, the work is physically easier, so he's mentally more likely to do what's asked of him. So what you're going to see me doing is a lot of over cueing in response to his nose. I get comments like, "How dare you snatch on that horse's mouth?" Well, that horse wouldn't have tried to buck with me, I wouldn't have snatched on his mouth. The turns that I make are going to be over exaggerated. You see me do a couple already. And those are all geared towards his mental desire to do what's asked of him. Really exaggerate pulling his head around. Exaggerate kicking on him to leave. Getting in his mind that he's going to do what I ask him to do. Over cueing. I'm gonna walk a little bit, let him catch breath. The physical part is getting him a little more fit. Getting his breath rate up, getting him to exert some energy. Normally that's done with a lot of trotting. I've done all the bend, counter bend, beginner exercises with him. He knows how to do them all. He's not real willing to do them. So to help with the willing, I work on the over cueing. Go ahead, pull a little bit, kick a little bit, go over here. and then release. Let's go to the left. Ask nice. He said no, I'm going to pull harder, I'm going to kick harder, and we'll go again. Let's go left again. He went left when I asked him nice. Didn't have to get harder with my hands or with my legs. That was better. All that part is all mental. Desire to do what the rider asks is all mental. And this is a really big problem. I see this a lot with horses, just general. It comes in for training with the issues with school horses because the horse learns that it don't have to do, so it complains and it's not made to do what's asked. So that's when I go to a situation where I'm over cueing, I'm pulling harder, I'm kicking harder, way harder than what I would. Now that was nice and easy. That's what I want my end result to be. But I got to that with the over cue. Now, where you get in problem over cueing your horse is if you already have a horse that's responsive, already doing what he can do, and you start over cueing, you're telling him that, hey, that's not good enough, I want more. And if they're already giving you what they are physically capable of giving you, then you're going to make the horse frustrated. You're going to make him so that he don't want to do because he can't do. A horse, every horse has a limit of what it's physically capable of doing. There are physical limitations, there are athletic limitations. They can only do so much. And every horse has its limit. I don't care what horse it is. And if you have a horse that's at its limit and you're asking for more, then you're going to frustrate a horse. On the other hand, a little while ago when he was telling me, no, I don't want to go left, no, I don't want to go right, if I would have gotten easy, if you would have used the train of thought that to make a horse soft, you always ask easy, which is incorrect, then he would have just kept telling me no. I would have never got this more willing turn on a soft rein. Ears are starting to come back better to me. Walk just a little bit longer and then I'll go back to trotting again. His ears are much, much better. All of that is because of over cueing. I use ask, tell, demand. You could say I went to demand faster. I reprimanded for not doing it soft. Have whatever terminology you want to use, it's all the same thing. I asked, the horse said no, so I asked firmer. You have to get to that point where you ask firmer. You have to be okay with that point that you ask firmer, or your horse is always going to be saying, no, I don't want to. I see a lot of horses that they're being ridden by a timid rider, and that rider picks up the rein and they say, let's go over here, and the horse sticks his nose right there. He's backing up, he's not really giving, now he's giving. The horse says, no, I'm not wanting to go there, I want to go the other way, and the rider gives him the rein and lets him go the way they want. Happens all the time. That's how that problem is created. And if you have a horse where you say, let's go right, and the horse gives you resistance, so you go on and go left, let's go left, said left, got my left and right backwards. If you say, let's go left, and the horse says, no, I'm not going left, so you say, okay, I'll go right, then you're creating that problem. And it's really easy to create that problem without even realizing that you're creating it. Most of these situations are rider created at some point or another, and I believe that the situation with this horse was probably started before his current owner got him, and then just kind of made worse after his owner got him, because he really, when I first started working him, he showed me some things that he was thinking about doing some really bad stuff. Bad, like rearing up or bucking or kicking out or some really bad stuff. And I know that that intimidated his owner, and that's why she stopped. I don't blame her. She stopped for her own safety. That makes sense. That's the smart thing to do. And to get it to me, to a trainer, where the trainer would say, no, you're not going to get away with that. We're going to just go on. That could ride out whatever the horse did. That's the smart thing to do. And as he gets better, continues to get better, that will, I'm sure, will come up again. I'm sure he's going to say, I don't want to go left, I want to go right. But the thing about it is, once he's been told over and over again, you're not going to get your way, we're going to go the direction I want to go, then he'll put less effort into doing what he wants, and the risk of there being a big reaction will become way, way less, because he's already been pushed through those no's. That's what I just did with him. Pushed through those no's and told that, hey, you're not going to intimidate me, you're not going to get away with those things, so he doesn't try as hard. Where when you ask to go left, and he says, no, I don't want to go left, and you say, okay, well then let's go right, well then that's the situation where he got what he wanted, so that just encourages him to do more of what he wanted. Let's trot around a little bit more. Caught his breath, I caught my breath. Let's trot some more, let's work some more on the physical aspect. Now, I need to work on his nose. I need to work on lifting his shoulders. I've done all of that at a walk. He knows how to do it at a walk. And I'm going to gradually start introducing that at a trot. But if I try to just take a hold of his face and pull him in really hard and use my legs and pick him up really hard, then two things are going to happen. One, I'm going to lose my forward, and I'm going to lose some of this fitness that I am working on, even though this fitness really isn't exactly like I need it to be, because it's not collected. I'll lose some of that. The other thing is he's going to get mad because it's hard, and I'm going to be bringing the no back in. So it's kind of a fine line here. I want to be collecting him up, bringing his nose in, asking him to do things more correct right there, so his nose starts to come down, and then he started pushing. I want to be asking for him to use his body more correct, but I can't just automatically go into, okay, 100% collection, forehead perpendicular to ground, elevate your shoulders around your back. He doesn't have the muscle tone to do that, doesn't have the mental strength to do that, so I'm just going to keep asking for little pieces and build towards that. Now at a trot, I can push up my right leg, raise my right rein, get shoulders over, get a little bit of that, and then go back forward again. Let's do left rein, left leg, and see how I lost my forward. The wall was coming. There, see how I lifted the shoulder, his head started to drop, I released. If I would have tried to hold that any longer, then I would have lost my forward. Let's go forward. There's one of them no's right there. I'm gonna pull his head around. I'm gonna kick on him pretty hard. Not gonna get away with that. Now we're gonna go back forward again. That's the kind of move that probably would have got his owner off. And you notice he didn't really do that a little while ago. He started doing that when I started asking him to use his body more correct, round a little bit, which is harder work. So that little balk, that little juke back and forth that he did, is the response to asking for harder work. See, now he's trying to get his nose in. I'm just trying to bring him in just a little bit now and get soft. It's all a balance there, a little bit at a time. Collection is not like an on-off button. You have to build it a little bit at a time. Build it with the physical fitness of the horse. Build it with the muscle tone of the horse. Build it with the mental strength of the horse, because it's hard. And as that builds physically, where he can carry himself better, that builds mentally, where he knows that how to use his body correctly. He mentally is okay with that work. Then the issue of him saying no and balking and saying no, this is hard, goes away, because I fixed the mental aspect, I fixed the physical aspect. It is all a matter of the proper progression of the horse through its training. That's why when a horse is started, the first 60 days can be done by a colt starter. I've made a couple of posts about a horse trainer needs to show. And for you to advance past a colt starter, I believe you need to show, because first 30, 60 days, you just need to stay on so that the horse learns not to buck. But as far as progressing this physical aspect, progressing this mental aspect of bringing a horse along, you need to show, because you need to know what proper collection is. You need to know how the horse is going to need to carry himself, how he's going to need to use his body, what the horse is going to be asked to do in the future to teach that horse physically and mentally what needs to happen. And I think that's kind of what happened with this horse. He got started pretty good as far as he generally doesn't want to buck, but I think whoever rode him just didn't have the experience, didn't have the knowledge to work on past this point. And the horse got to a point where it was saying no, and I don't think they knew how to get it past. I don't know who started this horse. I have no clue. This is pretty typical of what I see with horses that when the owners try to start them themselves. And they get them started as far as they generally don't want to buck and they generally steer, but a lot of owners that start horses themselves don't know where to go from there. And that's kind of what he strikes me as. Somebody did a pretty decent job getting him started to where he'd take the saddle, he'd take the rider, but they didn't know how to carry him past that. And that's, I don't know that that's the case. That's what his behavior strikes me as where he's at. I think they tried to work through it and created some of these issues, and that's why he kind of acts like a school horse, even though he's a relatively young horse. So this is, one more thing I want to cover. I had been treating him for an abscess. He blew, actually on the right front. Had blown out an abscess on that right front. I did a video, I think a week or so ago, about that, where I talked about that abscess. The situation of kind of, we knew we might have that when he came, and how I treated it, what I did with it. I took the bandage off when I saddled him. Still has a smell to it, so I know there's still some drainage. I'll clean it really good when I get done with him. We're keeping him in a stall, we're not turning him out. And I'll probably leave the bandage off. The way my stalls are, the little bit of shavings, and the type of floor that I have, I believe it's going to help pull that out and not get stuff back in that hole, since it did blow out at the bottom. So if you want to see that, that's in his playlist of stash. Put a link here somewhere to his playlist on YouTube. Until next time, thank you for watching.